Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70.
Welcome back to another Boss Conversations with Janeah. I have another wonderful boss coming on with me tonight. This boss is a retired teacher who has figured out how to still use that craft and turn all of her knowledge and business knowledge into a business. So that's what I love. I'm all about entrepreneurs, small business owners, people who know that they have an idea, they have something that they know the people need, that they can put out there in service for us and make us better or make themselves better. Either way, it's some boss moves. So, you guys, without any further ado, I want to welcome my guest. Welcome, Miss
Hello.
Denise. How are you?
I am good, thank you. I am good. Thank you for having
Good.
me here.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for coming on. Denise is my middle name, so I just want to say I really love your name, and
Thank you.
it's my
I do
mom's
too.
name. Yes,
I love your
yes.
middle name.
Oh, wow. So, how are you today?
I am good. I cannot complain. I am rested. It's a great day. I am very
That's
grateful.
good. Well, will you tell the people, introduce yourself and your business and what you do and, all of that good stuff? Give us the goods on your boss hats that you are wearing.
Awesome. Shall do. Hi, I am Denise Fernander with Mompreneur Success Academy. I am the founder, and I help moms who are coaches and wellness practitioners with getting clear on their messaging, creating an awesome strategic marketing plan, and getting their business out there so that they can get to profitable. So that is, in a nutshell, everything all encompassing what I do in helping other entrepreneurs, particularly moms like myself.
Wow. So I guess that is where the name came from because I really
Yes,
like the name Mompreneur Success Academy.
yes,
So you
absolutely.
have, is it, do you have courses? Do you have a program? What do you have like as far as what the academy is about?
So, yeah, so I have a 12-week program, and it is essentially all of the things to get a new entrepreneur from point zero or even point struggling to being profitable in their business and actually bringing in income. Like, I, on a regular, can see people who start out no idea what they're doing, and in 90 days be bringing in 20K, be bringing in 4 or 5 figures easily. So that is the whole idea behind it. It's a hybrid, so it includes small group coaching, but then it also has like strategic laser coaching sessions, one that really get them to, okay, where are we now? Where do we need to go next? So it's accountability mixed in with it. But most importantly, there's a roadmap. There's a thing to this, there are steps to this, and making sure that you've got all of the dots, and making sure you're crossing those T's. So it's a program that for 12 weeks walks you through all of that to get you to success. I do also offer an online course version of it, like a do-it-yourself version of it. But I find that by far the people who are the most successful, the quickest, are the ones who are ready to jump in, who are just like, look, can I skip the struggle bus? Can I get past the overwhelm and the frustration? And can I get to where I need to go? Because I know who my who is, because that's a lot about the clear messaging and getting to where they need to be in business.
Oh, that's awesome. So, does one have to have like a certain niche or a certain business category for you to help them, or is it open to like coaches of all sorts or business moms of all sorts?
I work with entrepreneurs of all kinds. I tend to resonate most with those who are in the space as moms trying to figure out, how do I balance home? How do I balance taking care of the family? How do I balance being a new entrepreneur and getting it done? So, so it's just a whole mixture of all of that. But most importantly, just really helping them get past the frustration, skip some of the struggles, and really get to the meat and potatoes of getting their business started quickly and getting it up and running.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So, when it comes to the mothers that come to you, the women that come to you, what are some of the common things that hold them up from being successful? Like why they usually have to come to you?
One of the biggest things, one of the first things that we tackle is mindset. For so many of us, and I say us, this is a new space. A lot of people, their mom wasn't doing this kind of business. It certainly wasn't on them.
Right.
So that whole mindset that you have to shift into when you become an entrepreneur, especially if you're used to, well, mom said, go get a college degree and then go get a job, and you hold on to that job for 20 years and you got to make sure you got this and you got to have this. It's a whole shift when you become an entrepreneur, because there is a different mindset. There is a different way that you need to think. And as you start to understand and grow more in that business space, understanding how that works and the importance of really understanding what your gift is, understanding why you're doing what you're doing. That is such a big part of that mindset. Like why, what's your why? Like, what's making you want to do this right now? And so those are some of the big things I definitely see consistently, is that mindset shift of getting into the space of becoming and being an entrepreneur and how that works, understanding your why and why you're doing this, especially right now. And then most importantly, getting clear about who it is you serve. Like, why, now that you know why you're doing this, right? You want to make a difference. You want to help a certain group. Well, who are they? And how are you helping them? What value are you bringing to them? What is it that they need that you and only you are delivering to them? Right? So that, I would say that when you get that foundational stuff out of the way, the rest is just meat and potatoes. You can figure that out. That's just really plugging in other things, but your uniqueness, your special sauce, figuring all of that piece out, that is definitely the beginning of the process and the part that a lot of people struggle with. But once you have that, you've overcome that, it's really smooth sailing, essentially, from that point on.
Okay, all right. So are you saying like I feel like I'm noticing this, and since this is your actual business, are you saying that a lot more moms are deciding to go the entrepreneur route because it's really allowing them to have the freedom to be with their families, but also be empowered as well as a business owner? Are you seeing a big trend in that?
Absolutely, because so many people, there it's almost, again, it goes back to that mindset. A lot of people don't really see what they want to do as being viable. They're like, oh, that's just a pipe dream, oh, that's just this idea I have. And they don't see how viable it is until they really get in and they're like, oh, I can do this, especially with this whole social distancing. So many people were either out of work, or they found themselves in a position where they were working from home. So it's like, why am I leaving the house, leaving being with my kids, when I can figure out how to do this from right here? So yes, there's a huge trend on that. And then, of course, when it comes to the income level, so many of us, when you add up, like, I'll give an example. I'll use myself as an example. I divorced, I guess 8 years ago. And at the time, I was a classroom teacher, and I genuinely had no idea how much money I didn't make. Okay, so forget about, oh, I knew how much, like, literally, I thought I made a little something, something. But when when it was just my income and I had to support myself and my son, and I realized, oh my gosh, as a teacher, I qualify for well, actually, I was right above the limit to be able to qualify for free and reduced lunch for my son. And I was the whole teacher at that school.
Right.
So anyway, I say that to say, by the time you are spending the gas, by the time you're spending the money for the clothes, by the time you're figuring out all of the time and the money that you're putting into leaving the house to work, very often for a lot of us, that money just really doesn't pan out to be worth it. So when you have a viable service or product that you can build and grow and be consistent with to actually be able to do from your home, why not? Why not?
Right.
Even if you started out on the side while you're working, why not? Because guess what? And again, that's that mindset shift. When you start realizing, oh my gosh, this is a thing, and you start believing in it, and you start seeing how much the people who you are providing that service for, when they start saying, oh, I love what you're doing, oh, I needed this, oh, I'm ready, then you're like, oh my gosh, like, why am I out here spending all these hours doing this over here when this is really what I need to be doing? And that shift is a huge piece of success in business as an entrepreneur in general, point blank.
Right. I totally agree. If I am a mom who has been working a 9 to 5, working some kind of regular job for the past 15 years, 20 years, whatever it may be, and I decide to take this type of journey into entrepreneurship, in your opinion, your advice on maybe 3 business aspects that you feel like I should focus on first, whether it's business, finances, whatever. But just something where moms need to know that when you do go into business, because it is a total mind shift.
Yeah.
And when you say mindset, in my opinion, that it encompasses all of that, understanding what a business is first to even be able to run it. But what do you think? A few things, maybe help them at least where they should start.
The first thing I would say is start reading books. I don't care if it's an audio book, get your head in that space. And it could be anything from Think and Grow Rich, The Black Choice, or either one for that matter. It could be anything like if staying productive is a thing, and you're just like, well, I start, but then I don't stay consistent, or I'm struggling with staying on it. Do the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. Like anything that will propel you, whatever that challenge is, or if it's just getting into the space of like Rachel Rodgers' book, We All Should Be Millionaires. So like find books that of women who preferably look like you, who have a similar story as you, who are out here doing it. Because the number of millionaires who look like me is increasing every single day. Yes. So, and they're writing books and they're out there and they're doing it. Start following them on social media. Start seeing the things that they're doing and that they're focusing on in their business so that you can start to get that same kind of thought pattern to understand how it works. So that would be one thing. So invest in your education in terms of learning about the business aspect, but also in professional and personal development for you, whatever your struggles may be, whether it's taking on affirmations or things that will get you to be positive minded and thinking about what could happen versus, because a lot of people be like, that ain't gonna happen. How I'm gonna do that? Well, if you focus on how you ain't gonna do that, guess what? You probably won't. But if you start to get into that mindset of being positive about, you know what? I see myself as
Right.
strong. I am confident. I am doing this. Well, get into that space of listening to affirmations and using them and any of those sorts of things. The next thing I would say, find somebody, find a coach. That is one of the best things that you can do. Find somebody who's done it. Because guess what? They are ahead of you. They've done what you are trying to do. And so definitely have somebody to walk you through these steps, right? So definitely the first thing I said, education, personal development, professional development, read some books, get into that space. The next thing would
Yes.
definitely be hire a coach. Yes, and I said hire because guess what? You want somebody who's got some skin in this, who actually knows what they're doing. And, and then it's a circle thing because you want the people who are around you are people who, I made a mistake initially. Well, I won't say mistake. A lot of us, when we
You
start
made the
coming up with these,
lesson.
there we go. Because you either win or you learn, one or the other. So, I used my peers and the people who are around me when it came to trying to figure out what was viable and what wasn't. And the reality was they weren't my target audience.
Right.
How they gonna know what's gonna work for my business or not? Or whether what I'm offering is valuable to the people who I serve if that's not what they're interested in. So, and then also when you think about that mindset, if you are working on becoming an entrepreneur, but you're around people who just like all the entrepreneurs I know never succeeded, how they gonna help you? It's not. So you want to start really getting into that space. Those are two things I would say. The third, because oh, you know what? I know what it is. The third. This is something that is so huge. There's this whole narrative behind how being an entrepreneur means that you go from working these crazy hours and being so stressed out at work to now you become an entrepreneur and you're hustling and grinding. And guess what? Working all these crazy hours and being stressed out and broke and everything else. No, that's not it. It's not even about that. So I'm going to say that the third piece is self-care. Learning and choosing
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Set boundaries so you can maintain your
Establishing
peace.
boundaries and really making good choices as you grow up in your business. Because there's so many things that we try to do everything, and delegating and automating and all of those pieces are so important right from the beginning, because it avoids you trying to do 60 and 80 hour weeks when that's not necessary. If you can have an email flow that automatically sends out what needs to be sent out to your new customers, why are you in there manually pressing go? If you are not a copywriter, why are you not finding a resource where you can find somebody at a reasonable rate that you at this time are able to afford or manage, so that they can do that copywriting for you, and all you have to do is get it to plug and play. So those would be the three. Definitely that mindset, that professional development and personal development, and then get with a coach, get with somebody who's done it before, who can walk you right through all of those hurdles that you will experience. And then last but not least, go ahead and do the self-care thing. Don't try to do it all. Don't be a grinder. I understand the whole idea behind grinding and hustling is working hard. Because yes, you will work hard. But to me, again, a lot of people
still, you got to pace yourself.
That is right. You still have to balance. Well, maintain. I'm not even going to say balance because I don't know that it's a balance. I think it's more you learn how to maintain what works for you. So those are the pieces I would say.
With your best interests in heart. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people need to learn to move with their own best interests because at heart, because that's what everyone else is doing. They're worried about their own interests. And so if you're sitting around here worried about everybody else's interests and they worried about their own interests, who's worried about your interests?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
needs to
Ain't
be
nobody
you
can balance or figure
first.
that out for you, but you. You are
Yeah,
your
the way
best
you treat
advocate.
yourself is also how you train other people to treat
Yes.
you. You know what
I
I'm
tell people that
saying?
all the
The
time. You
dialogue
treat
you accept in your head
Mhm.
is what you accept from people. Because if
You
you
teach
know
them
better,
how
if
to
you
treat
feel
you.
better, you wouldn't let people say certain things to you or whatever. You'd be like,
Yes.
that's not me.
Yes.
That's not
Right.
me. I
Right.
rebuke you and all
Right.
those words.
That's not the energy level I'm at, because that's really what it's about.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Right.
Yeah.
I think those are all great. Very good advice. I do think that they all encompass what you definitely need to start on your own. And I would also say, um, definitely from the beginning, know that you need to have thick skin. I don't care
Amen.
what your niche is, what your what you studying or what product you have, anything you have as a woman already. It's not too many industries. There are a lot that we're like, coaching is one that a lot of women are in, but most of these industries are male dominant. Okay, and so when you're out here competing with these men and these other dominant women, you need to have thick skin, because the more you elevate, the more people will come chopping and nipping at your knees and at your ankles. The more that you elevate, especially people who started way before you, but you surpassed them in this short amount of time. And a lot of people, they have a hate for that. They're like, I've been doing this all this time, and now she comes along, and then it's because you're pretty. It's because
Right.
you're a woman, not because you have the skill, not because
Right.
you are smart, not because you are a good businesswoman.
Yeah.
So I would say for moms, especially moms, because once you become a mother, even there's a more sensitive side that is in heightened within
Right.
you. So you have to learn how to have thick skin out here when it comes to
Yeah.
business, because the personal relationships and the emotions, it
Hmm.
does not need to exist with
Well, that's what I
business.
was gonna say. I was gonna take it up one. I was gonna say, forget about the thick skin. There's a book called The Four Agreements, and one of
Yes.
the agreements is it's not personal. Don't take it personal. It's not.
Nope.
It's not. It really is not. It's not about them. It's not about you. It's about you doing what you're supposed to be doing and keep it moving. That's the
Yes.
best way. That's the best way to deal with it. Like, don't take it personal. So I understand when you say, be thick skinned, but don't even think that hard on it. For sure.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
not about you. It's not about them or
It
you.
never is. It never is. It's always about something bigger or something different.
Yes.
So definitely great advice. I love this. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Now, how do you envision um Mompreneur Success Academy in 5 years? Because I feel like
Mhm.
now you have a 12-week program, but I feel like in 5 years it's gonna be like, man, sis has a whole accredited program. What's going on? So how do
That's a
you
great question. Wow. So, one of the biggest things is one of the reasons I even created this is the opportunity for community and network.
okay.
So, in 5 years, thinking about the number of women who have gone through the program, who are, connected, excuse me, who are connected to the program, who are out here helping each other, who are building their business. So I definitely see a much greater network and community of mom entrepreneurs who are collaborating and building and growing. So that for sure. I also see it as you mentioned, a venue for people regardless of the niche, because that's the thing, it's not just one particular niche that that person has to be in, because really we're building the system, and the system applies to whatever niche. So again, I just see it growing and being bigger and greater in terms of who we serve, but most importantly, a network. Because now it's like more of us need to be 6 and 7 figures and 8 figures, period. And having that network of people who are already out here doing it in your niche, and being able to touch those people and get in touch with them and connect with them and collaborate with them and learn from them and be inspired by them. I also do a podcast called Mompreneur Success Podcast, and I bring in entrepreneurs, mostly women entrepreneurs, and that's what they do. They give inspiration, and they give those 3 tips to help those who are coming up, because we need that. We need that inspiration. We need that encouragement. We need that motivation to keep us on the road, to letting us know, you got this. Keep going. You got this. Keep going.
Yes.
And sometimes we need that. So that's what I really see. It's just on a larger scale, being able to help and inspire and motivate even more women to keep doing this, because it's our time. We need to keep doing this, for sure.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I get so excited. You guys know I get excited with like every boss, because I don't think I've had anybody on here that is not passionate about what they're doing. And one thing I know, we all know that saying, if you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's
And
right.
even when you're talking about how you go from working a job, working all these crazy hours, and then you go to be an entrepreneur, you're working all these crazy hours, it is a totally different thing. At the
Yes.
end of the day, for an entrepreneur that's worked crazy hours, when the project is done, when whatever it is done, you are the most fulfilled person in the world, okay?
That is
Now, at the
fashion.
end of the day, when you've worked all those crazy hours at your job, at most 9 to 5s, there isn't going to be the same gratification. You'll be lucky if you even get any acknowledgement or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yep.
your pockets are generally, for most people, are not going to fluctuate because they did a good job. So for an entrepreneur, it is something, all entrepreneurs, I love that you guys always come back in and chime into my show and get these nuggets from the other entrepreneurs, because
Yes.
you're not alone out there. We know
Exactly.
you might be struggling. You've had this idea. You're like, man, I know I can make this business work, but I've never grown up knowing anything about business.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I find is so amazing about what you're doing, because a lot of mothers have come from, and not to say that it's their mother's fault, because their mothers didn't know, but a lot come from mothers who just, worked whatever job. Sometimes you're either a nurse or a teacher. For some, there's certain things that we saw most of our mothers doing. And so, for a lot of women now to step outside of traditional things and learn how to be breadwinners, but
Right.
also still be family women, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah. And I'm grateful, actually. I'm a little bit fortunate. So both my parents were entrepreneurs. They
Okay.
had full-time careers, but they owned real estate. My mom used to cook and sell lunches to folks in the offices and stuff where she worked. She also had like a little corner store for a minute. She sold Mary Kay. She also had her own real estate. So I
Mom
saw,
was a hustler.
but I saw them still have that full-time job and figuring out how to do it all, especially in
Right.
her case, while having 4 children. So, I saw that struggle. And I think for me, the flip for me is not just the time freedom, not just the financial freedom, because I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want the financial freedom. But I think for me, it was also a piece of that was the time freedom, because what I found in doing stuff on the side while I was still working, full time, like I had to give up some of that that part of me that was just focused on being a mom, because my hours were so limited. I would have loved to have more of an opportunity to really just be able to focus on that piece and cherish that family time. My son is older now. He's 19. So some of those years, yeah, we did all the things and he got all the things, but just really having some of that time freedom where I had a more flexibility in terms of, because again, if I'm working as a teacher, which that's not a 40-hour career, period.
Right.
That's like 60 to 80 hour plus on the weekends, and and doing all your breaks, those breaks that people talk about, they don't realize, yeah, you still working. So but doing that while still doing other things on the side, while still running a household, while still taking care of children, so it's like that's the piece there. Just really now getting into that space where there are women out in here who we are finding a way to have financial freedom. Not just that, which that's already a new thing for so many of us, in having to, not be on the struggle bus constantly all of our adult lives in raising a family, but also that time freedom, that freedom of really being present a lot more, other than just showing up to make sure that they get to the basketball practice, or making sure that my son did taekwondo, so it's like it's more than that. It's the pieces where you really get to hone in and stay in that feminine space and tap into that, and not constantly have to switch back and forward into, oh, well, I got to make sure I pay the bills over here. Oh, well, I got to make sure I'm trying to be an entrepreneur here. Oh, it's like so many different hats that we wear. If we could really
Yes, it is.
fine tune and focus for our unique situation, a better way to have that financial and that time freedom, man, that's it. And it exists. There are women that look like us all over this world who are doing it. So let's go find them. Let's be inspired by them, and let's go ahead and make it work for us.
Yes, beautiful. Now, Miss Denise,
Yes,
how
ma'am.
do you define success?
Wow. So for me, happiness for me, when people say happy, they have this idea that it means everything is, I have a friend who calls me unicorns and rainbows because I am that person. I see the glass full. Not even half full. It's full.
Yes.
It's always full to me, right? But for me, happiness is that balance, in the sense that there are gonna be struggles. But guess what? Even in those struggles, you're going to learn something. So I'm going to see the wins in every situation. So that is what it is for me. And I'm going to celebrate and cherish even the small wins. So those are the things that keep me satisfied. Really doing my best at being this human entity, or this energetic being, or whatever it is, right? Just really living in a space where I am helping others, for sure, but also within that brings me satisfaction, that brings me happiness. And that's whatever role that I'm playing, whether it's mom, whether it's business owner, whether it's partner, whatever it is, whatever that space means for me at that moment, that's happiness. Like, for me, I love to travel. I love to spend time, quality time with the people who I love. And when I get to do that, yes, it's all gravy. I'm that's happiness. That's success to me.
See,
And
that's
in
good.
business, it's similar. When I see other women who are growing their business, there's nothing that makes me more happy than when I see that woman who started out unsure of what she was doing, and here she is, business blossoming, just like she's killing it. Like that's bomb. That's success to me,
Yes,
and that's what
it
this is all.
is. I love to see that too. It's a beautiful thing, a beautiful thing. All right, well, just two more questions and we're done. How
Awesome.
do you, in your opinion, what are
Mhm.
the qualities of a successful entrepreneur?
Mm. Resilience, perseverance, um, open mindedness. Yeah, you have to have an open mind. And hmm, man, those are shoots. Self-motivated.
Yes,
Because there's gonna be
okay.
some times when ain't nobody else there but you, and you gotta hold it down and make it happen. So yeah, those, if you have those the skills, hey, because those are skills. Those are talents, those are gifts. You have to groom them and keep that up. That's not something that's just inherently born within everybody. So
Right.
I would say, yeah, those for sure.
Definitely. Definitely. I do agree. Well, where can the people find you? Where can they sign up for your courses, your listen to your podcast, all that good stuff? Let the people know how we can find you.
Awesome. I am on IG mostly at Mompreneur Success Academy. The podcast also has an IG channel, um, Mompreneur Success Podcast. And the website is Mompreneur Success Academy. Consistency across the board is all I got to say. So yes, you can actually go there. You can go there to access the podcast. You can learn more about the courses, my blog, all of that good stuff. You can find it there. But of course, the podcast you can also find on any of your on Apple podcasts. Any of your podcast platforms, we can also find it there. So yes, definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm also on
Awesome.
Facebook. Mom Success Academy is the group there, Mom Success Academy. So you can also find us on Facebook.
All right. All right. She is consistent all across the board. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
That's another little key, you guys, for
Yeah.
you new
Brand.
entrepreneurs or ones that want to go there. Your branding, you have to have some
Absolutely.
consistency and as much as possible. And so I tell people all the time, those ideas that you have before you release them out and
Intellectual
make
property.
pages and names and all of that, you need to make sure you have all your ducks in a row so you
Yes.
can be consistent across the board.
Yes,
I
yes.
get it.
I
I get
recently
it. I get it.
trademarked Mompreneur Success Academy as well. So yeah, so definitely intellectual property is a huge thing, especially when you are going online and learning all of those things. And again, that's one of those grow up kind of things. You as you become a business owner, you'll learn about that. But your brand is so very important, especially at the beginning. You want to grab all of that once you figure out what your brand is.
Yes, grab it all, y'all. Websites,
Speaking of
most
which,
of
I
them
love,
you can get.
love yours, by the way. I
Thank
love
you. Thank you. That was the very first thing I did, you guys, when I thought of
it.
this name. Okay. I didn't want to call it nothing when I started doing these interviews. And the very first thing I
I
did
love it.
was made sure I can get that website because whatever your podcast or your show name, whatever it is, you need to go ahead and start searching for the website name ASAP, even if you're not going to get it on that day, because if it's not available the way you spell it, There may be a variation that you might
Yep.
feel comfortable with, but